Meghan Markle's Netflix show has sparked major backlash. And it's not just affecting her, it's dragging Netflix into the storm too. Let's break down exactly what's going on. Netflix thought they were making a smart bet. A royal figure, a massive platform, and a global fan base. It all seemed like a guaranteed win. When Meghan Markle signed her multi-million-dollar deal with the streaming giant, expectations were sky high. Audiences expected a fresh, elegant, and maybe even groundbreaking series. What they got instead was a project that's now being referred to internally as the Meghan Mess. And it didn't take long for things to start unraveling. According to several production sources and internal leaks, Netflix originally greenlit Meghan's show With Love Meghan as a creative, lifestyle-forward cooking series, something wholesome and brand safe. But behind the scenes, things quickly spiraled into chaos. What was meant to be a lighthearted follow-up to her and Prince Harry's docuseries morphed into a legal and reputational nightmare. The real breaking point came when viewers, not even Netflix itself, began noticing something off. Fans of Pamela Anderson's Cooking with Love began posting side-by-side comparisons of Meghan's episodes, claiming not just similarities, but near-exact duplication of style, tone, and even entire lines of dialogue. The allegations quickly picked up traction online, and before long, Netflix had no choice but to investigate. The results were damning. Insiders say Netflix executives were stunned after reviewing the footage. Meghan hadn't just taken inspiration. From Pamela's cooking show, she allegedly recreated entire scenes. The aesthetic, the pacing, the scripted banter, even the outfits, all mirrored Pamela's work in ways that were impossible to ignore. Multiple episodes showed Meghan wearing outfits nearly identical to what Pamela had worn on her show, right down to the accessories and props. That alone raised red flags. But what really set alarm bells ringing was the dialogue. Specific phrases, used by Pamela, some considered signature lines, appeared nearly word for word in Meghan's show. And once Netflix confirmed that, things went from concerning to critical. A formal internal investigation was launched, and during the review, it wasn't just Pamela Anderson's content that Meghan was accused of copying. Netflix reportedly discovered that recipes and concepts from Guy Fieri's Food Network shows also appeared in With Love Meghan, not just once, repeatedly. Quirky names, cooking steps, ingredient combinations, all allegedly lifted straight from previously aired episodes of Guy's various shows. One example cited in the investigation involved a dish on Meghan's show called Spicy Love Nachos, which closely mirrored Guy's fiery fiesta nachos, including the commentary and flavor descriptions. Because of this, Netflix pulled the plug on multiple episodes. Footage from episodes 2, 6, and 7, which had already been fully produced, had to be scrapped. Internal memos revealed the cost of this move, an estimated $20 million in lost. Production value, not including legal fees and reshoot expenses. And it gets even worse. Since the episodes had been shot using a highly integrated storyline structure, the deleted scenes couldn't simply be edited out. Entire arcs had to be rewritten, and much of the cast had to be brought back in under emergency contracts. The situation became so severe that some producers referred to it as a code red. In a desperate attempt to salvage what was left, Netflix shifted to a more improvisational style for the reshoots, hoping that Meghan's natural charisma would carry the scenes. But that gamble didn't pay off. Sources from within the production described the new footage as awkward and unfocused. Behind-the-scenes clips from the improvisational sessions eventually leaked, and they were brutal. Long, uncomfortable. Pauses, Meghan stumbling through sentences, and cringe-worthy monologues about self-love and authenticity while attempting basic recipes. Social media tore it apart, and hashtags like #Meghan Cooks Disaster and Netflix Flopfest trended for days. Despite the fallout, Meghan hasn't backed down. In fact, she's doubled down. According to several sources familiar with the situation, Meghan has continued to lobby for a third season of With Love Meghan. She's reportedly reached out to Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos multiple times, sometimes bypassing producers altogether, to pitch new concepts. One idea floated was an interactive format where viewers submit their own recipes and Meghan responds to them on screen. But internally, the company is deeply divided. While Sarandos has historically been more supportive of Meghan's creative direction, co-CEO Greg Peters is reportedly done. According to multiple industry insiders, Peters has pushed to let Meghan's contract run out without any renewals. The financial department appears to be on his side. The $20 million in unusable footage was only part of the damage. The reshoots, emergency contracts, and staff turnover pushed the production budget well beyond what was projected. What was supposed to be a modest, brand-boosting series ended up costing more than some of Netflix's prestige dramas. And because of all this, subscribers are jumping ship. User complaints have reportedly spiked in the past few months, many citing frustration over the platform's content direction, and a surprising number specifically mentioning Meghan Markle. People are tired of seeing her image on the home screen, with some calling it oversaturation. In response, Netflix's marketing team has scaled back promo plans for the series. Trailers were delayed, posters shelved, and even social media ad slots meant for With Love, Meghan have been quietly redirected to promote unrelated content. Internally, the project has become a punchline. Some teams have even started referring to it as Project Boilover. There were early talks about releasing the show under a different name to distance it from the backlash, and one working title that reportedly floated around was Reimagining Meghan, which was immediately rejected after being mocked in internal meetings. To make matters worse, Meghan allegedly believes the show still has award potential. A source close to the production said she has discussed Emmy submissions, suggesting categories like Best Lifestyle Format or even a personal narrative documentary if they reframe the show's structure. Meanwhile, the Netflix legal team has been combing through every scene to ensure they're not exposed to further copyright liability. Representatives for Pamela Anderson and Guy Fieri have not publicly commented, but sources claim both parties are aware of the situation and not pleased. The legal risk is real. Netflix doesn't want to face a public lawsuit tied to one of its most high-profile partners, especially with so much internal criticism already bubbling over. What's even more damaging is the morale across the production teams. Writers, editors, and showrunners have reportedly expressed growing frustration with how unstructured and chaotic the process has become. Some have already requested reassignment. Others are quietly riding out their contracts. There's a shared sense among creative staff that this was a mismanaged, miscast project that should have been reined in much earlier. And with final edits due before the end of summer, the pressure is mounting. If something doesn't shift dramatically in the coming weeks, With Love, Meghan might go down as one of Netflix's biggest creative failures in recent memory. As the deadline for final delivery creeps closer, Netflix's internal leadership remains divided on how to handle the fallout. According to sources close to the situation, two camps have emerged. One side believes the best course of action is to quietly dump the season onto the platform with minimal promotion, hoping the lack of attention will keep criticism to a minimum. The other side wants to at least attempt a small redemption arc, maybe frame Meghan's show as a misunderstood artistic experiment. But that strategy only works if Meghan herself is willing to acknowledge the public backlash, and according to those involved, she's not budging. In private conversations with her team and Netflix staff, Meghan has reportedly insisted that she's being unfairly targeted, that the criticisms are rooted in jealousy, internal politics, or even bias against her unique creative voice. That claim might have flown in a vacuum, but with the amount of evidence Netflix uncovered, frame-for-frame overlaps, copied recipes, nearly identical lines of dialogue, the excuse is wearing thin, even among her allies. Meanwhile, Netflix's legal team isn't waiting around. To limit exposure, they've begun removing any questionable footage not just from the show's final cut, but from internal servers as well. It's not just shelving anymore, it's erasure. Producers have been told to rebuild scenes from scratch. Some guest stars who had filmed early cameos, including a lighthearted cookie baking segment with a well-known actor, have since asked for their appearances to be removed from the final product. One publicist allegedly warned Netflix that their client doesn't want to be associated with the project in its current state, and that's where the situation crosses into truly damaging territory. When even celebrities are treating this show like a brand risk, the reputation hit goes beyond bad press. It becomes radioactive. And yet, in the middle of all this, Meghan continues to pitch. According to leaked reports, she's floated the idea of turning With Love Meghan into a travel show next, one that blends food, culture, and emotional healing. That last part left many scratching their heads. Some Netflix executives reportedly didn't know whether she was being serious or just spitballing under pressure. But what's clear is that Meghan is not stepping back. If anything, she's pushing harder than ever to expand her influence, even as the team around her is shrinking. Multiple writers and producers have quietly exited the project. Editors say they've been left with a disjointed collection of scenes that feel like 3 different shows stitched together. Part cooking demo, part therapy session, and part royal memoir. And then there's the marketing disaster. By now, Netflix should be deep into the promo cycle. Teasers, trailers, press junkets, influencer campaigns. That's the standard rollout for a series of this profile. Instead, there's nothing. Some marketing teams have reportedly refused to attach their names to the project. Others are reallocating resources to different shows, worried that this one could backfire and trigger more subscription cancellations. Internally, there's talk of adding a disclaimer to the start of each episode, something that would acknowledge the reshoots and format changes. Meghan is allegedly furious about the idea, but at this point, Netflix may not give her a choice. They're preparing for the worst. More backlash, more bad headlines, possibly even a lawsuit if the Pamela Anderson or Guy Fieri camps decide to take legal action. As all of this unfolds, Meghan's public image is also taking a noticeable hit. Her approval rating, yes, industry analysts do track that, has declined sharply over the last year. Once seen as a courageous outsider challenging royal traditions, she's now increasingly perceived as controlling, out of touch, and lacking originality. That shift isn't just playing out in tabloids. More mainstream, previously supportive outlets are beginning to question whether Meghan's media ventures are built on substance or just celebrity clout. And fans, especially early supporters, are feeling let down. They expected something fresh, bold, and uplifting. Instead, they got recycled recipes and awkward improv. And the irony in all this, Meghan truly seems to believe that the final version of the show will change everything. Sources say she's been telling her inner circle that this project will set a new industry standard. She reportedly sees it as proof that she's more than a royal figure, that she's a creator, a visionary, someone who can lead the next wave of lifestyle content. But inside Netflix, those hopes are no longer shared. The enthusiasm that once surrounded this partnership has withered into quiet regret. Some execs reportedly wish they had stepped in sooner, before the budget ballooned, before the content slipped out of control, and before the platform became a punchline. Now, they're just trying to survive the rollout and move on. The truth is, with Love, Meghan was supposed to be a simple, uplifting series, the kind of low-stakes content that boosts engagement and polishes brand image. Instead, it's become one of Netflix's most chaotic, expensive, and embarrassing productions in recent memory. A cautionary tale about giving too much creative control without proper oversight. And it's not over yet. Final edits are still being completed. Marketing plans are still in limbo. Executives are still watching subscriber numbers daily, worried that one wrong move could trigger another wave of cancellations. And Meghan, she's still in pitch mode, still calling producers, still sending proposals, still insisting that the show will be her breakout moment. So now, Netflix faces a critical decision. Do they push forward and risk another PR nightmare, or do they quietly bury the show and hope the public forgets? Either way, the damage is already done. What started as a dream partnership has become a brand liability, one that will be analyzed in boardrooms for years to come. And that's where you come in. What do you think Netflix should do next? Should they release the show and brace for the backlash, or pull the plug completely? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think. And if you found this story wild, chaotic, or just plain fascinating, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because if there's one thing we've learned from this saga, it's far from over.